where you're going to have square readers. One building will have 50 of them. That's 50 possible fights breaking out in one building. You take a big city, you're not going to have enough cops.
Welcome to the Gentleman's Podcast, voted #1 most intellectual podcast 3 years in a row. I'm joined here with my host, Kevin Bain.
Professional rat trap assembler for the last 7 years. We work all throughout the country, and I'm glad to be here and a co-host starting this out. And what I'd like to start out with is Square credit card readers. They're in, I'm sure you guys have seen them, they're in all kinds of establishments. Probably seen them in McDonald's. I've even seen them now some places around. And my problem with the Square credit card readers is they expect tip for absolutely everything. Doesn't matter what you're buying. You could be buying paint almost. Like you go to like a mom and pop shop and they're selling paint. They're going to ask you for a tip. So I want to know what you think. Have you experienced anything with these tipping systems?
I mean, they're definitely like annoying. I wouldn't say they're annoying, right? I don't have a problem with tipping somebody if they go like above and beyond the scope of their work, like for what they're doing. But if like I'm going to the store and getting like a bag of chips and a water and like somebody, I think the worst thing about those squares is like when they turn them around, like just flipping them around is like so like
yeah, because they're looking right at you.
Yeah, it's like you get like I said, like a bag of chips and water, and they just flip it around and like look at you like.
Yeah, well, one thing I don't think people talk about or think about is the Square devices really are ruining the industry, because you take a Square device, you give it to somewhere like a paint shop, and now that person selling paint is now getting 20% tip to sell you a paint can. They did no work. A waiter is putting in hard hours to try and get a 20% tip. So don't you think that would discourage the waiter from working her job that we all know is a pain to be a waiter, to get 20% when someone's selling a paint can and getting 20%? Kind of makes it, and most waiters aren't getting paid an hourly. That paint shop guy is probably getting $10 an hour depending on the state, where the waiter's probably getting, what's the pay, like $2 or $3 if that for a waiter. So it's kind of disrupting the industry.
Yeah, I think also it like incentivizes like people that do like really simple like remedial jobs to like want tips or expect tips.
Yeah,
because like, you know, like somebody could like you go to like Starbucks or something, or like a coffee shop, whatever, and they warm up like a croissant in a microwave, and it's like, and then they just like turn this thing around. They're like, "What are you gonna tip me?
No,
I warmed up this croissant for you."
You know what's really bad though, that this isn't all Square readers. I'm guessing the companies have settings on them, and I've gone to places, a bar here recently, and I got food there, and there was no like, so normally you'd expect it to be like, because it's in columns, it'll be like 5%, 10%, 15, 20, 25, or custom.
Yeah, like the buttons, right?
Yeah, the buttons, so it's like automated, which I understand, but some businesses I've noticed will set the minimum at like 18%. I've seen 25 as the minimum percent, and obviously you can go in there and hit custom, but I still think it's almost rude to be like, you should tip 25%. That should be your minimum to tip me. And it's like, all you did was tell me what my total amount to pay was. Why should I give you $5 or $4 or whatever to do that? You're not going, tipping, I feel, is always a system of, I'm tipping because they went out of their way for me. If I have a waiter at a restaurant for me and my family, then that waiter's going, she's getting us drinks, taking our orders, making sure the steaks are cooked right, all that, getting the plates, bringing the menus, getting us a bunch of bread, because we always do that. And so they're going out of their way. Where most businesses now, these stupid Square readers, they're not doing anything for me, and I'm supposed to give them 20% tip.
And they expect a tip. It's like, you know, like microwave like a croissant or some waffles, or like, even, I don't know, I haven't seen it in anywhere like more than like a coffee shop or like a burrito place or something, but it's like you literally put a bunch of rice in a bowl and you're like, flip this thing around and you're staring at me like, oh, how much are you gonna tip?
Yeah,
like,
they kind of give you the look of like, you better tip me. Like, some of them, like, have that kind of, like, rude stare, I've noticed. Like, and you kind of feel bad, which is why I kind of believe in the movement of I hate your square reader, and I refuse to tip
Yeah.
on your square reader.
Like if they're looking at me while I'm doing it, like I will. Sometimes if it really bugs me, like if they're like staring at you, I'll just be like no tip, like just to their face. It
Like, I would not be surprised if in the coming years with these things taking over, because they're popping up more and more, people are going to start getting into fights in the restaurant over this stuff. Like, they're going to be, dude, they're going to be jumping over the counters. Like, I'm telling you, if they, like, if say someone is reliant on the tip, because I know that's a big argument, is, oh, like, we need the tips, like, that's how we live. So I'm saying these, like, no matter what the business, paint shop, sandwich shop, McDonald's, whatever, because they're going to be everywhere. They're taking over. There's going to be fights happening. Like, say someone's drunk at a bar, or maybe a crackhead's had a little too much for the day, like, and they're going to start fighting each other, and we're going to have a big problem. You're going to have to get more. You're going to have to get more cops on duty and stuff because these square readers. I'm telling you, mark my words. They're coming for you. These square readers are going to cause havoc in big cities. You're going to have buildings where you're going to have square readers. One building will have 50 of them. That's 50 possible fights breaking out in one building. You take a big city, you're not going to have enough cops to be employed to take care of these problems. I'm telling you, mark my words.
I don't think they're going to be jumping over the counter
Maybe not
fighting each
as
other.
that aggressive to jump over the counter, but people are going to start smacking them off, breaking them, because it's like an iPad. They're going to start breaking them and stuff because they're going to be mad about it. Like, why do I... Because I think another thing that's going to happen, too, with these square readers is they're going to make it to where there's no custom tip. It's going to be like, if you want to continue with this transaction, it's going to be 20%. Like... Or you cannot buy it. I think that will happen.
20%? Yeah, I could see it. So, Kevin, I have an interesting subject I want to talk about.
Okay.
Because I want to pick your brain on this. So, you know how there's, like, isolated tribes? You know what that is? Like, where it's, like, a tribe that has not been touched by civilization ever?
Like, still around today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there's one off the coast of India, I believe. It's called North Sentinel Island, and there's, like, this cannibalistic tribe that lives on this island.
Yeah.
And, like, people try
So
and
they
go
eat
there.
each other.
I don't know if they eat each other, if they eat, like, other tribes on the island.
Well, but, yeah, so they'd be eating... They're eating other people.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
And they're
what,
not bothered.
That's what cannibalism is.
Okay.
But, so... If you were like, so there's people that go out there on like mission trips to try and bring a religion there, and then they like kill them and eat them. So like, if you were going to one of these islands, like for whatever reason, maybe not bringing a religion, but like what would be like your approach to like contacting these people without like getting eaten?
So this situation is, I would be going to this tribe to try and preach like a movement of some kind.
Just yeah, like just make something up in your head. But how would you like approach it?
I would probably start it off with, like, you'd kind of want to learn about the tribe you're about to go to. Like, for instance, like, what food do they like? Well, I guess that's people. So I guess you kind of, I'd say a disguise would be a good idea. Like, kind of figure out what they look like, how they dress, like that kind of thing, and try and almost like make yourself look like one of them. Like, and
yeah, but you don't speak their language, so like,
well. So, you're telling me that they're cannibals for one, they're eating people,
yep.
that you don't speak their language, and there's actually people dumb enough that have the idea to go to this tribe to try and preach a movement.
Yeah, there's been like a few people that have died from this one tribe.
Well, then why are people... I don't see a way around this. Because you don't speak their... Can you learn their language? Is it online or something? Or is this like their language and only their language?
I think it's only their language. I think people may have deciphered it.
Well... I mean, it's kind of... I guess the best thing I could think of is bring gifts that they would appreciate. Like, obviously you can't kill people. So, like, you couldn't bring them a person. But, I don't know, maybe do, like, the second best thing. Like, kill a bunch of fish and, like, put them in a bucket. And, like, be like, hey, like, you should try these. Like, they're good. You won't have to kill people.
What if they're like, no, we want to eat you.
Well,
like, you look better than this fish you brought.
I think they would give it an honest try, but I take it back. I wouldn't do fish, because fish, it's terrible. If you like it, you go to the doctor, please. But I would probably do squirrels. I feel like they'd have the bloody griminess. expect a human to have, I guess. And so I would go with squirrels, like a bucket of squirrels. I'd bring that to him and kind of be like, hey, like, I'm hearing peace, like, here's these squirrels in a bucket.
What you're telling me is that you, out of all the options of food to bring people on a deserted island in the middle of like the Pacific Ocean, or the Indian Ocean, not a filet mignon, not like a ribeye or
Well, they're
anything. You
used
would bring
to
them a
people.
bucket of squirrels.
Yes, because like they're eating people, so they're clearly like if you bring them a filet mignon, they're gonna look at you and be like, we can get that out of a person. Well, and probably similar cut, but so a squirrel would be something different, but kind of have the aspect of like a human. I feel like you got the legs, you got the arms, you got a tail, so it's like a bonus. It's like a dessert to the eating people. But I don't see any better option than that. And if say they rejected that, they like tried the squirrel, didn't like it, or said it was too gamey or something like that, and they were like, now we want to eat you. I mean, then your best bet is to just look for the nearest animal. Like, hopefully there's a horse around. You just run to that horse. You get on it and you just go. You got to get out of there, because at that point they've decided they want to eat you. There's no getting out of there. You tried the gift approach. You don't know their language, and they want to eat you. I mean, those kids are who you got to be worried about, because they probably are trained with rocks, like throwing rocks and stuff like that. So that's who you want to worry about. So kind of as like before you've even decided if they accept you or not, kind of keep an eye out on the kids. Make sure like they don't have like rocks in their pockets, that kind of thing. Like scoping.
I don't think they have pockets. They're like
okay. Well, like a rock pile next to them, like kind of scoping you out, that kind of thing. So I would say keep an eye out on the kids. Make sure they're in line and they're not going to peg you with rocks. And try the food approach. If it doesn't work, look for the nearest animal. I mean, I've never ridden something like a bison, but if it's the last option, I mean, I would try it, because I don't want to get eaten. The thing is that I wonder, though, in any of these things you're reading about people dying, I wonder what their approach is. Like, if they're, like, violent about it. Or if, like, because, like, if you catch fish or something, like, you don't throw it over the dock and aggressively kill it to give it the worst death ever. So I wonder how they are with that. Like, are they kind of viewing the people as food? Like, and so, like, kind of just once done, like, he's out dead cold? Or do you think they're, like, just absolutely obliterating this guy, like, beating him, the kids are throwing rocks at him?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'd imagine they'd shoot him with an arrow or something.
Yeah, like, because I'd hope, like, if I was going to get eaten trying to preach a movement to this tribe, I would hope that I would at least not have a painful death if I were to die. I don't think I would. I truly think I could take on a tribe if I had a gun. But that's a hot take. I know I've spoken about this before, but I think if I was armed with a weapon that in fact shot bullets and they're using bow and arrows, I would win that fight. No doubt about it. Give me 2 ibuprofen and a gun, and it's over. I win. I own the tribe.
What are the ibuprofen for?
For if they hit me with an arrow, I won't feel it as much. Painkiller. I mean, maybe I'll take 4 instead of 2, like the normal.
4. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so, see, I think you're coming at it all wrong. I think, like, you need to, like, make them think you're a god, right? Because they've seen people come there before, and they, like, ate them or whatever.
Yeah.
So, like, what I would do is I would get, like, a gold jumpsuit. Like, like MC Hammer pants?
Yeah.
Like, get, like, some of those, but, like, a full suit.
So you're kind of trying to trick them.
Yeah, like, tricking them into thinking, like, I'm some, like, deity or something.
Yeah.
And then I'd probably pack a gun, too. Probably a good idea in case, like, my helmet falls off or whatever. But I would just get down on the beach, like, show up.
Come in from the water.
Yeah,
Kinda
it's
like,
an island.
Kind of like come up from the beach, like with your arms up, like, kind of like you're floating, like you lived in underwater or something.
No, I'd probably like deck out like a pontoon boat to look like a parade float, so it looks like I'm like flying in on a cloud or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And I think.
Well, they'd probably be impressed by the boat too, like having motor and stuff. They probably haven't seen that before.
Well, I think they've seen boats because the people that go there like come on a boat. So I don't know. Maybe that's not such a good idea now that I think about it, but.
Yeah, it's a tough take because you don't, like you said, I mean, they want to eat you. hard to work around that. Like,
Well, I don't know if they want to eat you like off the bat. They might like just decide they want to eat you eventually because they don't eat each other. So
yeah, maybe I guess trying to become one of them. Maybe.
yeah, I don't know. But have you seen this news about this? Well, let me ask you this: have you ever seen Rick and Morty, like the show Rick and Morty?
I actually am not.
Have you like seen any clips of
I've
it or
seen
anything?
clips, but I've never like sat down and watched it.
Yeah, so the guy that made it, Justin Roiland, I think it is. He just got like arrested or not arrested, but he just got charged with like domestic violence and like a bunch of other stuff. I don't know exactly what the charges are. I know one of them's domestic violence. So and then like it's all unfounded and all that, but they took him off the show. And
Yeah.
he's the voice of the two main characters. Now, albeit like the show's not really that good in my opinion. Like it's kind of like one of those shows where everybody's like, "Oh, you got to be high to watch it."
Yeah.
Which like, I mean, what do you think? If somebody says that you got to be high to watch a show, it's probably not good.
I think that is a bad take in my opinion, but at the same time, I could see the other one's perspective because, like, if we're talking about the bar, people are saying they don't like the bar, it's loud, it's busy, and we always come back and say, like, oh, we'll just have a couple drinks, you'll like it more. So I see that, but at the end of the day, when it comes to, like, being high to watch a movie, like, that's like a normal, like a bar is for certain people. Watching a movie is an ordinary thing that most people do. Like I would probably argue 9 out of 10. Probably 10 out of 10, honestly. And for you to, it's like the people that have to smoke to eat. Like they're like, oh, we're having a big meal. Let me make sure I can go smoke real quick. I think that is absurd. Like you should be able to eat without that. So I would say that's a bad take. I've heard that with many things other than Rick and Morty. I think that comes down to just the whole how big weed has gotten, like with it being legalized and stuff. Like I mean, we got people we know. I mean, they're high from morning till night. I mean, they wake up, they go outside, they smoke before they go to bed, they smoke before they go to the bar, smoke class. Like I mean, they're high all the time. So like they probably don't realize what it's like to be sober anymore. Like it's probably scary to them.
Yeah, I could see I don't know if it would be scary to them, but I don't know. Like being high is over like all the time like that. I don't see how people can function. You know, like in
Well,
like
they say
normal.
there's high functioning potheads, but I'm yet to see one because every time I'm around someone that just smoked or something, I mean, they look like they're about to die. Like they really do. Like I'd consider like giving them band-aids or something like to help them. I'm a nice guy, but yeah, I just think they say high functioning, but I don't see it too often. I mean, most people they look like they're dying when they just smoke.
Yeah, it's not. I don't know. It doesn't seem
It's
very
slow.
attractive.
I feel it slows your brain power too. Like you talk slower, all that kind of thing. Like you're not really thinking too aggressively. I feel like so. That's the thing I never understood about people that are so supportive of weed. Like, why would you intentionally want to do something 7 days a week that kind of like relaxes your mood so much to the point that you're not really aggressive to do something? Like, you don't want to get out and do something. You just like I mean, a pothead's like dream day, in my opinion, would be to just lay on a couch all day, eat chips, and watch Rick and Morty, for instance. Like
Yeah.
that's like their dream day, and to me, that sounds horrible.
I agree with you, man. I don't know, but there's also beneficial stuff to it. I mean, I know people do it for like sleep, stuff like that, but I don't know. You mind handing me a water real quick?
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So tell me about this. Tell me about this OnlyFans idea you had.
Oh, so this I don't think anyone's thought about it in this manner, which is unfortunate. So I was thinking about it the other day, and you got all these TikTokers and stuff. Like, I know I've seen it with my own eyes. Many other people have. Like these TikTokers. I mean, they're big accounts. Like 500,000, million, 200,000, like big accounts that people have, like that have an audience that enjoy watching them, and they just get banned. No reason. They can appeal it, get the account back maybe once, twice if they're lucky. But after that, I mean, the account's gone and they have to start all over again. And obviously, that if there's someone that's living off the money they're making off of, say, TikTok, and they get banned, they all of a sudden have no income and have to build an account back up. So I was thinking a common thing to fight back that these people have been doing is they've been making subscription services. Like I know Ross Creations did it. I think Nelk did it. And they'll do like $10
You mean
a
like
month.
their own website, right?
Yeah, but I'm thinking for your average Joe who doesn't want to make a whole website, or maybe they don't have enough content to have a whole website, keep it simple. And why wouldn't you use OnlyFans? And OnlyFans, for people that don't know, is like it started and pretty much is like a subscription service for women and guys, mostly women, like being naked and like being a fan of theirs. You pay a subscription, whatever. So what if these people that just kind of do simple things, they live off their TikTok money or their YouTube money, what if they started because OnlyFans seems easy. It seems like you just kind of make an account, people subscribe, you get money. Obviously OnlyFans takes a cut, I'm guessing, but what if these people made OnlyFans accounts and to all their audience be like, hey, obviously, like, this isn't going to be a nude service or something like that. Like, I'm just going to do what I did on TikTok, but on OnlyFans, and pay $5 a month. And OnlyFans will take $1 or $2. You get $3 from all of your audience, or the people that want to go out of their way. But I would argue that if you had, say, 200,000 followers, and obviously not all 200,000 are going to pay every month to watch whatever it is your profession is in social media, but even if there was just a small percentage of those that did, I would argue that I bet you would make more money off a small audience paying you money every month as a subscription than what you're making as a whole broad perspective from TikTok's like ad revenue, same with YouTube ad revenue. And you could still get brand deals somehow. I don't know how. You'd have to like almost make two sides to OnlyFans for brand deals. I feel like have like OnlyFans like 18 plus and then just OnlyFans, because I'm sure like Target and stuff probably won't want to advertise on OnlyFans.
I was about to say, like,
it's a very like it's a out there topic, but I see it working. Like if I was a big social media person and I got banned, I would gather whatever else of the audience I can, being that I'd been banned, and try and get them to just make a subscription service on OnlyFans for like $3 a month or something.
You know, there's like already websites that do that where you, because like what I'm thinking of here, like what you're proposing is like, let's say like somebody's really good at knitting and for some reason they get banned and they go on OnlyFans and they bring their clientele there, and then you're looking for knitting videos in a haystack of porn.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I could see OnlyFans doing like two sides of the business.
I guess, but there's already, like Patreon exists and stuff like that, right? Or most of these people make their own websites already if they're popular.
Yeah, but I'm saying if they don't want to go through the hassle of owning their own website, because then you have all the expenses and all that, like having to. It's like it's a hard topic to explain, but I feel like that could be an option because people are just getting banned so much. Like it's insane. I mean, these guys, they got 500,000 followers. They're making a cooking video and they use their knife in it, and it gets flagged for like acts of violence, and they lose their account. It's absurd, and you can't. From what I've heard, the customer service with that kind of thing is pretty awful. I mean, I think it's automated too. Actually, I mean. I won't fact check it because I don't care, but yeah, that's kind of my take on the OnlyFans thing. I think people could take advantage of that because then on Pornhub too, you've probably seen there's like gaming clips on there. Like you seen that?
No.
On Pornhub, like if you go on Pornhub right now and you look up like Call of Duty Black Ops 2 like trick shot and compilation, there's videos on Pornhub, and that's what gave me the idea. Obviously, I've never been on Pornhub, but
yeah, me neither.
Yeah, but I think that's what gave me the idea. Is if they're posting to Pornhub their Call of Duty clips, it's probably because they don't want to deal with all the regulation you get on something like YouTube. They can't cuss on it. You can do whatever. If you're uploading to things like pornography, I mean, there's no limit in that because it's porn. So they have no restriction of what they post. So I think that's why I think there's going to be, if OnlyFans doesn't take advantage of this opportunity, I think Pornhub will become like the next compilation of gaming clips and stuff like that.
Do you think Pornhub's gonna be like the next like YouTube?
Yeah, I do. Unless YouTube kind of like broadens their allowance or makes deals with the ad partners or something. I think like Pornhub and OnlyFans will eventually start taking advantage of that their platform. They don't have restrictions because it's porn. You can post whatever you want. You can make a compilation video of you trick shot in Call of Duty, cuss as much as you want, cook. I mean, you might start seeing cooking videos on Pornhub. You don't know. I think it's going to happen. So that's kind of my take on that.
Yeah, interesting. I don't necessarily think that they're gonna move I don't think the Call of Duty sector of or any gaming people or
Who knows, dude? You might, in years to come, if this happens, I called it, but you might see in next couple years, whatever, it'll probably be like what Call of Duty like -3 because they keep copying all the games. So it'll be like Call of Duty -3, Modern Warfare, Black Ops -1. When that comes out in a couple years, and they have the big gaming conference in Las Vegas or whatever, like the competitive. It's gonna be a big Pornhub thing, right above all the players, like advertising because like they're a sponsor. Pornhub will be a sponsor of gaming, competitive gaming. Mark my words.
all right, very interesting.
All right, guys, and that'll do it. Thanks for tuning in.